Hi everyone, thank you all for calling in. As usual, my computer does not like Zoom and it takes like 3 minutes to load, so I'm sorry that I'm late. We have a full stack of attendees already, so I think I'll just get us rolling into the meeting. Thank you all for being here. My name is Melissa Cohen. I'm the General Manager of Ivy Food Co-op, and I'm one of the co-facilitators of our Isla Vista Community Network. We love to open these meetings with a land acknowledgement. Even though we are on Zoom, we are still on the land of our Chumash ancestors. So we would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Chumash people and pay our respects to elders both past and present. We honor the traditional territory as well as the story and contributions of the Chumash people to the land upon which we gather and create. So thank you for that. And we like to open these meetings with introductions, even though we're not all sitting in the same room together. We feel that intros help us feel more connected, and we like to know who's on the call. So if you're just calling in for the first time, you can simply say your name. You don't have to state an affiliation if you don't want to. And if you have a quick announcement, this is the time to offer that. We have a lot of people on the call today, so if we can keep those announcements to like 30 seconds or under, that will get us through with enough time to have a meeting and not just introduce ourselves, which is also really fun. So I will use the participant panel and do the best I can as people populate through. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, we will correct it. And if I miss you, we'll get you on the end. So why don't we start with Jonathan, whose hair looks lovely.
My name is Jonathan. I'm the General Manager of the Ivy Community Services District.
Thanks, Jonathan. And Elena?
Hi, my name's Elena. I'm just here to participate and listen in on your guys' meeting today. I'm very interested to see what is going to be discussed.
Thanks for calling in, Elena. How about Ash?
Hello, I'm Ash, they, them, here in a personal capacity, but I am one of the Parks Board directors. And I'm also with Eco Vista and Food Not Bombs. And I can't think of pressing announcements, so I will pass it back. Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. I should also have said we are recording the meeting. That's the YouTube that you guys are seeing, and I should have mentioned that at first. And the chat panel is great. If you think of an announcement that you missed, we will copy and paste the chat and share it out. Totally echo John's comment in the chat for Jonathan's glorious hair. Okay, moving on to Blair.
Hi, my name is Blair, and I'm in John's Eco Vista class.
Awesome, thanks for calling. How about Brittany?
Hi, my name is Brittany. I am a student at UCSB, and I am also in John's Eco Vista class.
Awesome. Ooh. How about Deborah?
Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah Anderson. I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Isla Vista Community Services District.
Great. And Diana.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Collins Puente. I'm with Associated Students.
Thanks, Diana. I think that is Aaron Jones up next.
Hi, yes. Aaron Jones, Director of the Educational Opportunity Program and Acting Director of the Multicultural Center.
Thanks for calling in. How about Gina?
Gina Fisher, Office of 3rd District County Supervisor, Joan Hartman.
And Haley.
Hi, everybody. My name's Haley. I'm here with Coastal. I'm just here to listen and learn. I did want to mention that last week we did an education event for the IB community over Zoom, and we had a really great turnout, and we plan to do more in the future. So I was going to leave my email in the chat if anybody wants to be a part of that and learn what bringing legal cannabis into IV is going to be like.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Haley. And if you guys have any events that you want shared through our email list, you can also email Isla Vista Community Network at gmail.com, and then we'll share it out via email to our list.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that goes for anybody that has an event. Yeah, that's across the board for any events. Yeah, thank you. Populating. How about Jackie? I think that you're next.
Hi, everybody. Jackie Curta, Director of UCSB's Alcohol and Drug Counseling, Education, Prevention, and Recovery Program.
Thanks, Jackie. How about Jay?
Jay Freeman. I'm on the board of the Isla Vista Community Services District and the Local Agency Information Commission, but I'm representing neither agency today. I'm here in my personal capacity.
Awesome. And Jeffrey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Hawley, Professor of Anthropology at UCSB. Been researching COVID with students, and next quarter we're going to look more at housing and population, who lives in IV, where they live, what sort of resource, how many units, that sort of thing, for example. So I'm interested to hear today, and also to, if anyone else has any sort of insights or resources on that, I'll put my information in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. How about Jennifer?
Hi, I'm a reporter for KCSB.
Great, thanks for calling. And Joan.
Joan Hartman, 3rd District County Supervisor.
Thanks, Joan. And Joanna.
Hi, Joanna Hill, UCSB Department of Health and Wellness, and I am no new news, but we're starting 7 COVID stations a week in Isla Vista starting day 1 of spring quarter. Let's go. And thank you, Ash, especially for the suggestion to do Little Acorn Park. That was very useful.
How about John?
John Foreign, Eco Vista. I'm going to pop in the chat the details to join us at our next General Assembly, which is at noon. Thanks. Peace back.
Thanks, Lieutenant Camarena.
Yeah, good afternoon, Lieutenant Camarena, Isla Vista Foot Patrol Station Commander. And also, I just want to let you guys know that effective March 22nd, I'm no longer going to be in Isla Vista. I'm getting transferred to our Criminal Investigation Division. And my replacement is going to be Lieutenant John Maxwell.
Thank you so much for letting us know that, Lieutenant. Thank you for your service to our community, and we'll look forward to meeting the person who's coming in your stead. Hopefully they can attend these meetings. It feels like a really important bridge that we get to maintain with our local law enforcement. So thank you. Katerina.
Hi, this is Catalina Zamora, Alcohol and Drug Program from the County of Santa Barbara, Behavioral Wellness.
Great. And how about Kim?
Hi, everyone. Kim Ekwanoa from UCSB's Dean of Students Office. It's good to see you all.
Kim. And how about Kai?
Hi, everybody. I'm an undergraduate student here, co-chair of Intersectional Feminists, an organization here. Also interested in doing research with Professor Holly on housing and IV. So if anyone's interested, just reach out and I'd be happy to listen in.
Thanks, Kai. Lealoha. Lealoha. Oh, there you are. I see you. Not able to get to words. Unable. But there's Lealoha saying hi. And I know that she's calling as a rep for the pharmacy cannabis dispensary. And oh, yep, there she is in the chat. Perfect. How about Libby?
Hi, everyone. I'm Libby, and I am in John's Eco Vista class.
Great. And Lisa Osborne.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Osborne with KCSB News.
Awesome. Lisa Oglesby.
Hi, Lisa Oglesby, Isla Vista Food Co-op Board of Directors.
Great. Lori.
Hi, Lori Goodman, Isla Vista Youth Projects, and we are looking for volunteers to help us distribute food, and I will put a link to sign up to volunteer in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. And Luis.
Luis Valerio, Recreation Coordinator for the Isla Vista Rec and Park District. I'm excited to announce that tomorrow we're submitting our application for the Children's Park Renovation Project, where we are requesting $4.2 million to do a full renovation of Children's Park. We held 5 community meetings, had over 1,100 votes casted on park improvements, and so we're super excited. I'll put in the chat the board-approved site design that the community came up with, along with the help with staff. So super excited about that.
Cool. Thank you for that update. That's really exciting. And thank you to everybody that contributed into those meetings. I wasn't able to, but I heard it was a really great process. We can share with we'll share out the chat after the meeting, and so more people can get their eyes on that. How about Noah?
Hi, everybody. Noah Campo. I'm the Director of Member Services at the Santa Barbara Student Housing Cooperative.
Thanks for calling, Noah. Amari.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omari Pryor. I'm with UCSB's Alcohol and Drug Program. Glad to see you all, and I don't have any announcements.
Awesome. And Ryan.
My name's Ryan. I'm a student at UC Santa Barbara under John's class, and I'm excited to listen in.
Awesome. I might mess your name up. I think you're Sari. Did I say it right?
Sayer.
Sarah.
Sayer McNeil. I'm the mediator for the rental housing mediation program at Isla Vista Community Services.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for calling in. Sorry I messed up your name. I will get it right the next time. Thank you.
No problem.
How about Spencer?
Hi, everyone. Spencer Brandt. I'm the president of the Isla Vista Community Services.
Awesome. And Ted.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ted Tiber. I'm with Santa Barbara County Housing Community Development, and I think I'm going to give a presentation a little bit later in today's meeting about United Way's Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So look forward to talking about that in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Ted. We appreciate it. And Tori.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tori Saunders. I'm a police officer with UCSB's Police Department. I am currently assigned to the community outreach team. So we are doing lots of outreach to the community via Zoom right now, but we hope that we are in person sooner than later. So if you have any questions for UCSB Police Department, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Tori. And Viviana.
Hello, I'm Viviana Marzano, Civic and Community Engagement and Isla Vista Liaison in the Dean of Students Office.
Thanks for calling, Vivi. Well, for the first time in many meetings, we have accomplished introductions within the allocated time of the agenda, which means that we can move into the third district report on time so that Ted can have enough time to do his talk. This is great. Take it away, third district.
Hey, Joan, do you want to let Ted go first about and then we can follow up with any other general county updates?
Excellent idea. Excellent idea.
Okay. And Ted, are you able to share your screen with Jonathan?
Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. I lost Ted's icon.
So Ted had just announced himself and introduced himself, but he works at the county housing department, and the county board of supervisors was able to allocate millions of dollars towards rental relief for unincorporated residents of the county. This comes from state and federal, combination state and federal funding. So Ted's going to give an outline of what that funding looks like, how to apply, and generally kind of who's eligible. And so if you have questions specifically about that program, Ted's the expert at the county, and so we'll have time for Q&A. But I hope it's of great value to everybody on this call.
Yeah, thank you, Gina, for that introduction. Jonathan, am I able to share my screen? Oh, yep, I got it. Perfect. Thank you. Throw this up. All right. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Excited to talk to you about this new program. So on December 27th, President Trump signed the 2021 Stimulus Act into law, which included $13.3 million directly allocated to the county from U.S. Treasury for emergency rental assistance. And those funds can be used for rent arrears, utility arrears, and there's also some housing stability services, which I'll talk about in a minute, but would generally include case management and legal assistance or representation. So the county partnered with United Way to deliver this program. The United Way's application portal is shown there on the screen. So the program's been live for about 2 weeks now, and we're rolling, and we're pretty excited about it. If anyone has questions, that phone number, give about 24, 48 hours response time, or email is much quicker. But for those that don't have access to email, there is a phone there. And so the program is available to qualifying households throughout the county, which would include Isla Vista, and also any incorporated city like City of Santa Barbara or City of Goleta that are 80% area median income and below. I'll get to what that means exactly in a second. But the program is also prioritizing households that are either unemployed for the past 90 days or at 50% area median income or below. And that doesn't mean that people in that 50% AMI or 8 to 80% AMI range don't qualify, but just that those more vulnerable populations are going to be assisted first, just because we feel they're more at risk of homelessness. So in addition to being at that income range, you also have to document an impact from COVID. So that could be that you've had your hours cut, or you've been laid off, or maybe you're an independent contractor and have had clients no longer require your services. So that there's a million different ways that we've probably all been impacted by COVID. So we kind of take those on a case-by-case basis, but you basically an applicant will sign a declaration detailing how they have been impacted by COVID. It could also be that you've had COVID and lost work due to COVID, or childcare issues as a result of schools being closed. So it's pretty flexible. It's not a very high bar there to show an impact of COVID. And then lastly, that you need to have some sort of risk of homelessness. And again, that doesn't mean that you're about to be on the street next week, but if you have past utility or rent arrears, that would demonstrate a risk of homelessness. You can apply for funds going all the way back to March of 2020. So if the household hasn't been able to pay rent or pay all of their rent since a year ago when the world shut down and COVID happened, you can apply for rent going all the way back to that date. You just can't obviously seek assistance for a month that you were already assisted. So that's kind of on us on the county or United Way side to sort out. But it's essentially fraud to try to apply for funds for a month's rent that you've already been assisted with through another program. So I added this slide for today's presentation because I know Isla Vista has sort of unique housing makeup, and there's a whole lot of shared housing. And so, it's a little bit complicated, but I have here kind of how we determine what a quote unquote household is to qualify. So previously, we've had some emergency rental assistance programs in 2020 that used community development block grant or CDBG funds that has a much more restrictive definition of household, and it, in most cases, would not allow students to participate. This program is being run by the U.S. Treasury rather than HUD. And so we have a more lenient definition of household, and I have it up on the screen here, which is basically just that one or more individuals are obligated to pay rent on a residential dwelling unit. And we've interpreted that to mean that, and I have this down at the bottom of the screen, but if a house is leased by bedroom rather than the whole house being under one lease and being divided up equally, but if there's individual bedroom leases or even individual tenant leases, that can be considered the household. So that makes it a little bit easier to qualify if, say, you and your roommate need to qualify rather than a larger house of 6 or 8 or however many people are under the same roof, if you will. But that being said, whatever that household makeup is, or whoever's on that individual lease, still needs to meet these 3 tests that I highlighted earlier. So they need to either be unemployed or experience an impact from COVID. They need to demonstrate a risk of homelessness, which is either they're 50% AMI or have past due rent or utility bills, and also that they're at that 80% AMI income level. And here's what that AMI income level looks. So for a single person in Santa Barbara County, and these are published by HUD annually. So for a single person in Santa Barbara County, 8% area median income, $66,000, 50% area median income, and that's what you would need to be prioritized, which really just means your application is going to be expedited. At least now for the current time, it's 41,000. And then if you have a household of 2, 3, 4, obviously it goes up accordingly. So this is on our website, but just kind of giving you a sense of the ballpark range here. I'm not expecting anyone to memorize that. But so with the county's program, if you meet those eligibility criteria and you're at 80% AMI or below, you're entitled to rent assistance of up to $2,000 per month. So we don't want to assist. Basically, yeah. So if your lease or rent obligation is above $2,000 per month, you would have to you could try to get the landlord to forgive that additional amount, or you could enter into a payment plan to pay it forward over time. That additional amount would still be due to the landlord at some point, but we just wanted to cap it at $2,000 per month because we felt that that's more or less in line with the average rental amount in Santa Barbara County. And we wanted to try to impact as many households as possible and not, maybe benefit a few households that have a particularly high rent obligation. Like I said earlier, utilities and rent arrears go back to a year ago when COVID kind of happened and that presidential emergency declaration was signed. And then under the United Ways program right now, families can continue to reapply for up to a total of 15 months. So say you apply today, you get 3 months of rent assistance. In 3 months, you could, if you still have a need, you could reapply for additional 3 months rent assistance. Payments are made directly to landlords, and that's a requirement of the law. And same goes for utilities. They're provided directly to utilities rather than providing them to the households individually. And then lastly, and we get this question from landlords a lot, but it does not cover security deposits or first and last month's rent. The purpose of this is to really keep households housed during the pandemic for a lot of reasons, but it's not really to assist with people moving around, although we realize that there are reasonable reasons to do that. That's not really in the heart of this program. So I want to talk just real briefly about other programs, since there's some chatter about, there's a lot of emergency rental assistance funds going around right now. So the city of Goleta, so Isla Vista is not in the city of Goleta, but is certainly nearby. So the city of Goleta is running their own program for providing 3 months of rental assistance up to $5,000 total. It's only available to city of Goleta residents. So if you live in Isla Vista, this would not apply to you. It's the same 80% AMI numbers as the county's program. And you must also demonstrate a loss of income due to COVID, although what that means for their program is slightly different. I don't know a ton about their program because it's a city program and I'm with the county, but I know the housing authority is administering their funds. So there's the contact at the housing authority if anyone lives in Goleta and thinks they might qualify. Both like our program and like the city of Goleta's program requires that tenants apply. Landlords cannot apply on a tenant's behalf. So the next program that people may hear about, and I just want, is the state of California's emergency rental assistance program. The state was allocated about $14 million for Santa Barbara County at about the same time that we were. We're anticipating receipt of a memorandum of understanding from the state on when their application will open to Santa Barbara County residents and what kind of assistance will be available. It's a little bit frustrating. We've been following up with them pretty much every day for the last 3 weeks and haven't really been able to pull much information out from them or get a draft of that MOU. So I don't want to speak too much about the state's program or the details of the state's program because while SB 91 kind of lays out the law, there's a lot for agency interpretation that we just don't know yet. But there will be certainly a state of California program in some shape, form, or size for Santa Barbara County residents. And then lastly is the American Rescue Plan. So yesterday, Congress approved the $1.9 trillion bill, and there's $21.5 billion in emergency rental assistance nationwide. We're expecting another allocation from this pot. Santa Barbara County has a population of over 200,000 persons. So similar to the current program that I've been talking about today, we're expecting another allocation from the U.S. Treasury. We don't have, there are no regulations yet. It hasn't been signed into law yet. Biden's expected to sign it tomorrow. So there's certainly a lot of unknowns, both with the state program and this next round of federal emergency rent program. But the point being, there's a lot of money out there for those who qualify. And we're really, really excited to have such a well-funded program for, typically with these sorts of programs, it's just a pennies on the dollar for these sorts of funds. But right now we have $13 million that we're trying to get out to the community in pretty short order. So I would encourage anyone that thinks they can apply to go to the United Way portal. If you just Google Santa Barbara County HCD, it's the first link on our website, or here's again the link to the United Way website. And then I'll just put up, this is my phone number, email address. Diana Lockhart is our deputy director, and Lori Baker is a grants and program manager above me. So if anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer questions or give similar presentations like this one today to any groups that are interested and will listen. So I think that kind of ends my PowerPoint, and I apologize, I haven't been looking at the chat while I've been talking. So maybe there's some questions in there that I could answer. And let's see. Yeah, I guess doesn't look like there's any questions, but if anyone has any questions, I think we have 5 or so minutes allocated for questions, and otherwise, feel free to shoot me an email.
Hey, Ted, thanks for your presentation. That was really helpful. I have a couple questions about who can apply for the program. So we're very unique in Isla Vista. We have tenants in unique situations. Some are subleasing, so they may not be on the lease, as well as some residents who may be claimed as dependents on their parents' taxes. Can you sort of go through who can apply and how that works?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So the issue of being a dependent on your parents' taxes, that's sort of what I referred to earlier about the CDBG's definition of household, which was more restrictive and kind of foreclosed a lot of students from being able to participate. This is a different, because this is being run under the U.S. Treasury rather than the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. There's a different definition of household. And so whether you're dependent on your parents' taxes would not necessarily disqualify you. So basically, the issue of subleasing is a little bit tough. I think we'd want to take a lot of those on a case-by-case basis. If we kind of need to have some documentation of what the tenant is paying. That doesn't necessarily mean we need a lease. We can piece together like reoccurring checks being drawn out of a checking account to document a rent obligation. But best case scenario, we have a lease. So if say you're in a 2-bedroom house and there's four tenants in it with 2 in each bedroom, if that house is just one lease, so those 4 tenants are joint and severally liable to the landlord for their monthly rent obligation, then that whole household would have to apply basically as a house. Those 4 students would apply as a household. And they would have to meet the 80% income determination as a household, and they would have to show that at least one of them was impacted by COVID in the household. So that's sort of one scenario. Another scenario is if each bedroom is leased separately, then, and they share a kitchen and communal space, but the bedrooms are individually leased, then each roommate, I guess, would apply individually. The 2 roommates would be the applicants, and they would just need to show that those 2, not the other 2 roommates in the other house, but just those 2 are at 80% AMI or below. So that kind of, and then when you get into subleasing, I think it's a little less cut and dry. To the extent that it was just a verbal sublease, I think we need to look to bank statements and show that they have been paying that lease. If mom and dad are paying the rent from Orange County, that's probably not going to cut it. So yeah, we take a lot of those on a case-by-case basis, and we try to give the applicant the benefit of the doubt. But honestly, you get a lot of pretty interesting scenarios, and so we kind of try to take those as they come without trying to. Yeah, I mean, there's so much money coming through our department this year, and we're all just pretty wary of an eventual audit for these millions of dollars that are going out, which will surely come. So while we're ultimately liable, we try to be as flexible as we think we can within the letter of the law. So if that helps to answer your question, I'm free to answer any follow-ups.
Thanks for that, Ted.
Great.
Any other questions for Ted? Okay. If there's any questions that come up, you can also pop in the chat or you can email, and we'll definitely loop them in after the meeting. And we'll pass it to the rest of the 3rd district. I'm just noting the time, it's 12:30. I don't know if other entities on the agenda have big updates, but just noting the time and still passing it back to 3rd district. You're on mute.
I don't think we have too much. Okay. Joan may have an update or 2.
Yeah, the only thing I really have is the board meeting. We look at the planning department's long-range work plan and had a discussion about Isla Vista and basically updating the master plan, and there's general support for that Probably not this year, but next. So that's something to report. The numbers are still looking good on COVID. Higher education is included in education for getting vaccines. And Jay, you might want to report on the LAFCO issue related to the IVCSD. So that concludes for our district.
So the Local Agency Information Commission, which Joan and I are both on, has decided to use a cross-agency service by service process for its municipal service reviews. Every 5 years, it is charged with updating the spheres of influence of all of the special districts and cities within the county, which is the territory that one might expect in the future will fall under the service area of that entity. So if there's a property adjacent to the city of Goleta, you might expect one day that would be part of Goleta. It makes more sense to be part of Goleta than to be part of Carpinteria, which is nowhere near there. Then the service, then the sphere of influence will get adjusted based upon these municipal service reviews. Used to be those municipal service reviews were done agency by agency in Santa Barbara, where you would do a review of the Isla Vista Community Service District and then separately a review of the city of Carpinteria. This is not actually typical. More typical, and under the recommendation of the state operations, I forgot the name of it, but it's like operations department something, is that you instead choose a type of service, then choose a service area bounded by what that service might make sense. So for example, if you're doing a water district, you might choose a water, like if you're doing water, you might choose a water basin, and then you would look at all of the service providers providing water, public or private, that are within that region. And so instead of doing a review specifically of the Isla Vista Community Service District, which is where we were as of a few months ago, and then negotiating over when that would happen, the Isla Vista Community Service District will instead be lumped into the process that LAFCO's new executive officer has come up with and timeline. So beginning this year, we will be doing reviews of public safety, including emergency medical services and fire, and looking at the entire county and all of the, because I mean, a lot of areas are being served directly or indirectly by the county sheriff, and there's not quite as many obvious boundaries. And so he's wanted to do the whole area here for a lot of these things. The Isla Vista Community Service District will be part of that review for the public safety that it provides. And then next year, they will be doing, LAFCO will be doing water and sanitary. And then the year after that, they're going into, and I've forgotten the future timeline, but the year after that, going into other topic areas that the IVCSD will come up in again. And so the previous negotiation with LAFCO regarding when the IVCSD's MSR will take place is kind of moot in that standpoint, because we're very comfortable with what we've been doing with public safety. And then the timelines for everything else will just fall into line with whatever had been negotiated anyway. So if anyone has any questions about why any of this happens or what LAFCO is doing with this, but I'm happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Jay from what he just quickly talked through? Okay. If there's any follow-up questions for Jay about LAFCO, I'm sure that he'd be happy to get an email, and you can just ping over to Ivcn or drop that into the chat. Thank you, guys. Next on our agenda, we have actually just a little open space for any topic idea around COVID cannabis dispensary updates, if there are any. We have Deltopia here, but I don't know if there will be a Deltopia update through AS or IVCSD. So maybe I'll just open this. We have like 2 minutes technically in this area, but we can flow through if it feels like a topic that matches the next 2 items. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Okay, no burning topics. That sounds great. We can just move it over into the Associated Students update and go from there. So if we have somebody from AS on the call, I can't remember if Yasmin is on or if anybody else wants to offer an update.
Melissa, I do not have an update for
Okay.
AS.
Okay, no worries. So we don't have any AS update, which is fine. We can move it right along to IVCSD if there's anything to update there.
Spencer, I don't know if you want to talk about any updates. We don't have anything concrete to update people on in terms of Deltopia. So,
Hey, yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, nothing concrete on Deltopia. We're still in discussion and meeting with number of partners and hope to have more updates soon. In regards to trying to get something alternative for folks to do on that date that's an alternative to the RDC.
Does anybody have any questions or thoughts towards Deltopia? Brief updates from IVCSD.
I just wanted to mention something about again, every time I mention the COVID info stations to this group, I just get such good, useful feedback. So I'm part of why I'm throwing it out there. But we will have stations on Friday and Saturday of that week, 4-hour stations, Friday and Saturday. But we were not going to use the word Deltopia on it. We were just calling them COVID-19 information stations. So just if anybody had any feedback on that, I just wanted to let you know that is what I'm feeling is like our contribution to Deltopia. You know, I don't want to, yeah, that's my thought.
So thinking about less leaning into the branding of Deltopia and just sort of keeping it as a separate, like we're not naming it, even though it might be a thing that's happening kind of concept.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to let people know that we are going to be out there those 2 days. And if somebody from this group feels like that's an area where we can do something different or something more or something, whatever, I'm open to that conversation.
Sorry, live action grocery store happening. Thank you for that, Joe. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts for CSD related to Deltopia or other? Okay, I see a question from Ash in the chat. What's the status of move out? Is the give sale happening in any form? And then asking follow-up about potentially doing a free thrift store site. I don't know if I think Vivi's on the call if she wants to answer about the give sale.
I don't think the gift sale will happen because we still have restrictions about events, you know, happening in IV. They wouldn't even let me have the site probably. On the other hand, we feel that circulating all those personal belongings that could be infected and people rummaging through them is not the best idea. Last year, a group of students approached me and we did kind of plan something, but you know, some people want to have a drop of place, you know, but they were going to just throw everything in the trash, which in a way defeats the purpose of the environmental issue. So what I did, last year I worked more actively with property providers and asking them to probably put, you know, extra dumpsters in the property and things like that. If anybody has any idea that we think would be efficient and not increase the spread of COVID or be an issue, I'm going to put my email on the chat and I would be happy to talk. Also, if there are some groups who are already planning to do something, I would be very happy to meet with them and give them, you know, have a conversation. Last year, I had a long conversation with a group and after they realized all the issues with having everything, they decided to move in another direction. So I will be happy to chat and brainstorm.
Awesome. So thanks, Vivi, and thank you, Ash, for your suggestion bringing that up. Hopefully, as we keep getting further through this, this will become conversations we don't have to have anymore because we can have our give sale soon. So that feels hopeful with all of the things moving forward. Awesome. And then going back to the agenda because we are zipping right through. So if there's not any other questions or comments for IVCSD, we can jump into a law enforcement update if we have still. I think Tori's on. Lieutenant Comrade had to jump off for a few minutes, and so I think he might not be back yet. Tori, did you want to offer anything from UCPD? She might be engaged. Oh, there we go. Tori, did you want to do an update? Great.
Sorry, my computer is finicky right now. I don't have any updates necessarily. We are still hiring. So if you have anybody you think would be a good law enforcement officer, you can contact me and I can get you in touch with our sergeant who's doing that. But that's all I have for today. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy.
Thanks, Tori. Is there any other, we have a few minutes, which is awesome. Is there anything else that we didn't get to on the agenda that anybody wanted to have as point of conversation today? Also, we have a really lively chat. I have copied everything out of the chat, so I'll send that out after the meeting. Okay. Ash, I appreciate your comment about the goal of a regular thrift store in IV for all the time. I think that Isla Vista would deeply benefit from something like that, and that's a really good idea. And hopefully something that can be considered moving forward. Okay, it's 12:44. We have a 16-minute come up to get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Again, I'll send out the chat, and if you have something that you want on a future agenda, just email ilavistacommunitynetwork@gmail.com. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks with our next meeting. Thank you, everybody, and have a really nice day. Bye. Bye.